Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Well, we will just kind of chat a little bit while we wait for everyone else to get on. I have been with Helping Services now for 4 months, going on 5. I started in March. I am the Delaware County Mentoring Coordinator, and currently we have 34 matches here, and we're always on the lookout for more mentors. So spread the word. Youth mentoring strives to navigate youth away from risky behaviors. So we really are looking at finding those trusting adults to hang out with our youth in our community and just be that positive influence for us. So some things that we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about what are the kinds of peer pressure and who experiences it and how to respond. And there's going to be some discussion in here. I want to hear your guys's aspects and if you've experienced any of it. I just want to kind of interact with you guys so that it's not a super boring listen to me talk the whole time. So what is peer pressure? It's really when individuals within the same social group are influencing others to engage in the behaviors that they don't typically engage in. As you can see in the picture, you know, their friend group could be like, come on, do it. Just go ahead, like, don't be a chicken. And then this person's going to sit there and think like, oh my gosh, I have to do this to fit in with this friend group. All right, so we think that, you know, teenagers are probably our main people who experience the peer pressure. But as I was digging around and researching, adults and even young children are also experiencing this. And we just really need to make ourselves aware of the different kinds of peer pressure so that we can help either our mentees, help our children, help our spouses, help our friends, any of that stuff. All right, so we're going to get into the types of peer pressure, and the next couple slides I'll have some interaction. So it involves communicating a type of message, and how you receive that message is going to vary. It can either be super direct and clear. Sometimes it could just be based off of a strong feeling. It's not always going to be the same exact type every single time. So first we have spoken and unspoken. So I have 2 examples here, and you can either put in the chat or unmute yourself, whichever one you're more comfortable with. The first example I have is a friend asking another friend to smoke marijuana while it's in front of them. Do we think that is spoken or unspoken peer pressure?
Spoken.
You are right. It is spoken. They are directly asking them to do something. The next one is drinking alcohol to conform to belonging to a group. Do we think that's spoken or unspoken?
You're getting a lot of unspoken, Sam, in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you. And you guys are right. That is unspoken. Let's see here. So that is just doing certain behaviors and stuff depending on your surroundings. So if you are in a group and you see everyone else doing it, you think to yourself, I need to do this to fit in also. Nobody has to directly ask you. Direct and indirect peer pressure. When they're handed a drink at a party and have to make that on-the-spot decision. Do you think that's direct or indirect?
Direct.
Yes. Yes, that is direct. They right then and there have to decide if they're taking that drink, if they're turning it down. It's really hard. I think the direct is really hard for a lot of people. It's hard to say no. It's hard to know what's going to happen if you do say no. You might not know what's going to happen if you do drink the alcohol. Next is experimenting to find acceptance, like going to a party that you overheard was going to have drugs and alcohol, or even just joining in on gossip that you overheard. Do we think that's direct or indirect?
Direct.
Indirect.
Indirect.
You guys are correct. So this could also just be indirect, could be you've wanted to do something, but you've been scared, and then your surroundings are making it a little less invasive for you. So you cave in because it's something you've wanted to experiment trying. Okay, this next one, you guys are going to give me examples because not all peer pressure has to be negative. Obviously, positive peer pressure, it can be all those direct, indirect, spoken, and unspoken. And this pressure is felt in one-on-one situations or even groups to promote healthier lifestyles. And then negative are some of the things that we talked about with drugs and alcohol, bullying, just trying to fit in with a group and different behaviors. So I want to hear or see in the chat either a type of positive peer pressure or negative peer pressure, or you can blurt it out at me.
Come on, you can be a peer helper. You can be a team leader. And so join me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely what comes to mind when I think of like a positive would be working out or studying harder at school. If you had a test coming up and your friends were all like, I'm going to go have a study group, and they're going to make it a big thing, then next thing you know, hey, I want to join in. And working out, you have coworkers or peers or something that's going to start going to the gym or eating healthier, and you decide, hey, I'm going to take that leap also, and I am going to start working out with you. Yeah, and so some other negative, I was thinking of like skipping school or calling into work or some simple things like that that we don't really think about. Okay, so how to respond to peer pressure. There's numerous ways to go about this. Obviously, the main one you hear is just say no. And saying no is so hard. And I think at the teen level, they all just want that acceptance. So finding something easier for them to say or to change the subject, kind of talking with your either child or mentee or even your friend or coworker, and just having that backup plan on maybe how to change the subject and ask a different question. Some examples were if they were at a party and they were asked, hey, do you want this drink or do you want to smoke this marijuana with me? They say like, hey, let's go ask the DJ to play this song. Try to get their attention away from that alcohol or that smoking. So also having a trusted adult, and that's where I think the mentors and parents, obviously we want the kids to trust them and come to them, but sometimes that's not always how that works. And so having that trusted adult that the child or the teenager can go to and kind of discuss what's going on either at school or what they've been experiencing, so that we can help them either role play in situations, talk about what it is to be a real friend, and make them aware of their surroundings so that they are able to make those decisions and able to say no when peer pressure is upon them. Okay, so who has an example of a time they felt peer pressured, and how did you respond? You can either put it in the chat or unmute yourself and blurt it out at me.
Sam, I'll get us started.
Okay.
I think we talked about this when you were creating this PowerPoint too, is the fact that adults actually are peer pressured all the time, whether it's to keep up with the Joneses or, you know, to to fit into kind of that perfect lifestyle. So, and I think adults use Facebook or other social media to, or that's maybe where they feel it, because they might read that their friend kind of has this perfect life on Facebook, let's say. And so I might have the desire to keep up with them, you know, whether it's buying a nicer car or making sure my house is perfect, or, you know, that type of thing. So I'm going to talk a little, just a little bit about the whole adults are pressured too by their peers all the time. And it also, I think it goes for substances too. Like we are, you know, alcohol is very woven into the adult culture. And whether it's you're at a barbecue or wherever, the pressures might be there for, you know, adult to engage in drinking too. So
yes, good to point that out, Jen. Thank you. Does anybody else have an example of when they felt peer pressured? I could talk for myself, I guess. I did this presentation a couple days ago with my steering committee, and my example that I brought up was, as a new mom, you feel a lot of peer pressure to breastfeed over formula feed, the cry it out method versus holding your baby all day. You feel all this pressure for how moms expect every other mom to do their parenting. And I think figuring out ways to say no and stand up and say, hey, this is how I'm going to raise my baby, like it or not type of thing. So it's definitely, as adults, it's all around us, not even just the keeping up with the Joneses as moms, as our kids, and going into sports and things like that. If we don't put our kids in sports, if we do put our kids in sports, and we're always going to have that pressure around us. All right, now I have a little video. Oh, maybe I got something in the
hey,
chat.
Sam, before you, can I read a chat?
Yep, go for it.
It was said, going out with friends and choosing not to drink. They say things like, well, it's dinner to drink. I say we don't need to drink to have fun, but try to still instill the mentality into your own child. Oh, it's funner. It's more fun to drink. I say you don't need to drink to have fun. Try to instill that mentality into your own children. That's not a necessity, definitely.
Right. Mm-hmm. I agree with that one. You do not need to drink to have fun. Thank you for sharing. All right, we have just a short video here. Make sure we can hear it. All right. Oh, maybe Maybe if I can get it to go on. There we go. All right. So yeah, that little video just kind of talks about what we've been talking about this whole time and some different ways we can say no and things like that. I think the hardest part with peer pressure now is looking that it's all around us with the social media, with the movies. Tons of movies have it where a girl changes who she is, kind of like in Grease, when Sandy's pressured into changing who she is to be with the boy she loves. High School Musical, they're pressured to stick to their social status and their cliques, that, you know, basketball players can't go out for the play and choir. There's an example down there that says, can you stop being boring and send me nudes, please? I'm getting bored now. So teenagers, adults, sometimes are getting peer pressured from, maybe they think it's their love of their life, their boyfriend, somebody they're trying to date, and they cave into these things because they want this person to accept them and love them and like them. The Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube are all influencing everybody, and that's a lot of pressure on a lot of the teens to do some of these TikTok challenges because social influencers are doing them. So it's all around us constantly. Signs your child is experiencing peer pressure. They may want to avoid school or social settings. They could be very image conscious, changing in behavior, expressing feelings like they don't fit in. They could have low moods or trouble sleeping. They could be trying out new hair, clothing styles, making a lot of comparisons with themselves and their surrounding peers. Really what it comes down to is knowing your child or knowing your mentee. And if you have that connection with them and you sense that they are having the change in the behavior, or they are changing their hairstyle and their clothing style, and this is not like them, then that could be a time where you sit down and discuss what's making them want to express their feelings in new clothes, new hair, or if they're angry a lot, or if they're self-conscious about their body, or whatever is going on. It'd be a good time to sit down and chat with them to figure out if it is peer pressure or if it's something else going on. Different ways on how to talk to your child or mentee. So really don't overreact. They want to talk to you and hear things, like you might hear that they were at a party and they tried alcohol, or they were at school and they joined in on picking on somebody. And obviously these are things that we don't want to hear, but we have to make sure we don't overreact and we have the mental capacity to sit down, let them know that, hey, it's going to be okay. Let's talk about things like what makes a true friend and what independence really means, so that you can stand up for yourself and really say no. Also, knowing your child's friend group is going to make things a lot easier, because if they change their friend group, if they change it often, that's going to be kind of tricky. But once you get to know the friends and their parents, especially if it's a small town, you'll be able to see who is going to be the good influences and bad influences, and just making sure that your child knows how to say no. So doing some of those role-playing things and modeling, so that if the time came, they knew what to do. Here are some statistics. And so 85% of high school students have felt peer pressure. 75% of adolescents have tried alcohol due to peer pressure. If you just read through those, they are just talking about some of the different things that, feeling pressured to have sex. We talked about the boys asking for nudes, and even your peers, your friends already trying new things, and so now you're feeling pressured to do these things also. It's as simple as skipping school, and it's as drastic as your own mental health. So it's really things we have to be on the lookout for. All right, a couple more things to ask yourself. Okay, so do I have friends that influence how I think? Either blurt it out or put it in the chat.
I was going to say, I think that as far as friends influence how I think back to like even high school and the choice to go to college or not go to college and what college to go to. And, you know, there's a lot of peer pressure out there and a lot of competition. And, you know, do you not go to college and go to a trade school? So I think that influences a lot of kids.
Yep. That's a good example. I haven't even thought about that one.
I was just thinking about how often I say, well, my friend so-and-so says blah, 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 you know, and find myself repeating things that they say. Of course, you know, they're going to influence my thinking.
Yep. I see in the chat, somebody said, yes, friends help with right friends. So the next question kind of stems off of all this. Do I do things because of peer pressure? So if your friends are influencing you and you are, you know, maybe saying a little thing that your friends say or whatever the case is, are they also putting that pressure on you to do things, whether it be positive or negative? And if so, what kind of things are they? I think about myself and my other mom friends wanting to have me find a babysitter all the time so that we can go out and do things without our kiddos. But, you know, for one, it's not easy to find a babysitter. And for two, I like to spend time with my little one. So I don't like to pawn them off. And so I have to say no a lot of times. I see Elaine put in the chat, yes, with everything in life, the places you visit for vacations, the gardens you grow, and etc. That's a good example. All right, and last one says, how can I help my child or mentee if they're feeling peer pressured? So I just want you guys to brainstorm for a second, either put in the chat or blurt out, what is a strategy you've either used or something you think you can try to help your child or mentee if they come to you feeling peer pressured?
I think keeping open channels of communication, but also to talk about boundaries and let them know that, you know, sometimes when you get that feeling you shouldn't be doing it, that's a boundary and you have to speak up and say no.
Yeah, awesome. Does anyone else have anything? Let's see, in the chat, do they think they are good models? Let them know that it's okay to be different. Yeah, these are all awesome. So making sure those boundaries are there and it's okay to be different, and talking about what a true friend is, and being independent and not needing to fit in with everybody around you. So really good ideas, guys. All right, those are just some resources. And then Kathy and I also do some presentations on Your Life Iowa, and that is just kind of like a one-stop shop for things like problem gambling and substance misuse and mental health. And if you or anybody you know want a presentation done, it'll help us reach our goal. So you can just reach out to us. Down at the bottom, it has mentoring@helpingservices.org, and we can always get something scheduled. And do you have any questions or comments? Nope, I see in our chat, we had another one that says, be positive example in life with everything, like even your Facebook page. Yeah, making that social media, represent the good side of you. Don't let it, don't let social media drag you down. Okay, so does anybody have questions or comments or anything you guys would like to discuss about peer pressure?
Pam, I'm just wondering, I've got a younger mentee, and so are there any little videos out there that are kid videos that address this too?
As I was looking through some videos, there was a couple different ones, and I can actually just send you the ones that I watched.
Okay.
There was a couple more that were more kid friendly. I chose this one just because I thought it fit the audience a little bit better. Yeah, definitely. I can send you some of the ones that I had saved. And if anything, we can work together and try to find some good ways for you to talk about peer pressure with your mentee.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think here, let me see if I can put the evaluation link in the chat. If you guys would all like to do that, if you have a second, if you have put your email in there, if you would like the slide or the video or both, any other resources that I can send you, please put your email and stuff in the chat. The eval link, hold on just a second. All right, the link for the eval is in the chat. And oh, and we got a happy birthday on there. I didn't know it was her birthday. Well, happy birthday. All right. Okay, I see some emails in there, so I will get this stuff sent out to you guys. And if you don't have any more questions or comments for me.
I got the emails too for you. So
perfect. All right. And we got some more happy birthdays in there for you.
Happy birthday, Colleen.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I want to thank all of you for taking the time today. I know it was a little bit short. I have another training I am on, and my lunch is during this time too. And so I have to go back and enjoy another 4.5 hours of this training. So thank you guys again for jumping on and chatting with me. I love the interaction that you guys participated, and it's just remembering that peer pressure is all around us and knowing how to recognize it, put up those boundaries, and discuss it with all of our peers. So thank you all again.